Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back. And what are we getting back into? Because it's been some time. Forgive me. We are back into Love is Blind UK. We are now on episode 7 and this one was called Is She Good Enough For You? So we know from the last episode that Freddie and Catherine was still on the odds, on the outs, or whatever the frick you want to call it. Okay. Freddie was trying to fix things, but Catherine was being a little bit of a Anyway, before we get into this video, as I always ask, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so you know I'm on and doing videos. Please comment, like, share and do all the good things that you do, because you know I am on the road to 1k. I want to say thank you to all the newcomers and all the new subscribers that are coming in and watching and taking on board my videos. What I do need you to do though is start putting your thoughts down in the comments. That would be the best, because then I can react more to what it is that you're listening to, what your take is, and I can kind of reply to. Okay, anyway, so basically Freddie is saying that things are still tense between him and Kat. And I mean, like, no shit, Sherlock, because Kat can hold a Kat can hold a grudge, I should say, for days, man. At this point, I was kind of thinking this girl is just trying to find every little thing to be mad at this man for. And I don't know what the hell he's done so wrong that she's mad at him like this. So they've gone shopping. And Freddie is basically trying to joke with her. And she is just like giving him the proper daggers and the cold shoulder. So you can see that Freddie is trying so hard to right whatever it is that he's done wrong. And Catherine's just being full on arsey with him, like really full on arsey with him. I'm like, you know what? If that was me at that point, I'll be done. Seriously, I'll be done, because I'll be like, I don't know what more that you want me to do to try and make things right with you, if you're not going to accept like my apology or understand where I'm coming from. Because Freddie is quite a laid back person. He's also quite sarcastically jokey, so when he does say things, he's actually joking. He isn't doing it to prod the bear like she thinks he is. She thinks him saying what he's saying and being quite funny is digging at her, but not necessarily understanding why she's so upset. And she thinks that Freddie keeps pushing her buttons. I don't know what buttons he's supposedly pushing, but sometimes I think Catherine can be too nuff, man. Like, honestly, be too nuff. So he's having a joke in the shop. So Catherine turns around to him and tells him to stop. And she believes that he's being sarcastic and that Freddie is winding her up on purpose. So he's supposedly not supposed to know what he's doing. All I thought was Freddie was trying to make a tense situation better, but it was just making things worse. So I was just like, yeah. She's holding on from stuff from the retreat, basically. That's what she's holding on to. The whole cheating, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, come on, my girl, let it go. Like, seriously, let it go now. He told you about it 7 years ago, hasn't done it since. He's there with you. He's trying to be with you. And you're just being an arse at this point in time. Anyway, Catherine then wants to blame Freddie for how she's feeling, right? And believes that Freddie needs to start taking things seriously and not be jokey, because she feels that he's treating her as a friend and not a fiance. And I'm like, but everybody always keeps going on about how they want to marry their best friend. Freddie's trying to be your friend as he's getting to know you, but Catherine's not even deciding to open up to this man in the slightest. And I already done knew this girl was going to irritate me. Now she then finds something else wrong, because Freddie tries to, like, as some men do, like to stroke your hair. She tells him stop stroking her like she's a dog, because she's not a dog. So Freddie in his VC is now sitting there thinking that maybe he should start to tone himself down for Catherine. I thought that's not a good move on Freddie, because at the end of the day, you shouldn't have to change the essence of who you are and dim your light for someone else to feel comfortable with you. If Catherine can't enjoy that part of who Freddie is, and she's never going to enjoy every or any other part of him, to be fair. I do believe that Catherine literally said yes to him because when she saw him, all she saw was tall, gorgeous, ripped. That was it. That she didn't realize, you know what, I have to actually get to know the substance of this man and wonder if he is for me properly. I think she wants to change the essence of who Sam is, of who Freddie is, to the men that she's used to dating, and that's never going to work with a man like Freddie. Never going to work. We see Ollie and Demi, and they're cooking dinner because Ollie is going to be meeting her two closest friends. Ollie is one of those guys that get distracted by everything around him. Ollie's feeling a bit daunting meeting Demi's friends, but I think it's going to be okay, because the one thing that I have noticed about Ollie, he may be a bit difficult in group settings, but when it's a smaller group and when he's trying to impress someone, that man's got mouth for days. Like he can talk, he can give that good yarn, do you know what I mean? So I knew Ollie wasn't going to falter in that scenario at all, because he knows how to express himself when he needs to. So Demi is looking for approval from her friends in regards to Ollie. My thing is, when it comes to friends, love them to bits, especially close friends. I will hear them out because they're my sounding board and vice versa, but ultimately the choice will be down to Demi. That's what it's going to do. The choice will be fully down to Demi as to what she's going to do. She can hear what her family say, she can hear what her friends say, but ultimately if she wants Ollie, the choice is going to have to come down to her and how she's feeling at that time. We see Jasmine and Bobby, and they're basically having takeout, and she says living with Bobby is quite easy, and she was happy that Bobby hadn't spent as much time on his phone as he had in the past. And Jasmine talks to Bobby about her own insecurities with men in the past and their phones and what they like to look at on social media and engage with and stuff like that. This is where I keep saying, sometimes when stuff like this happens, especially if you've gone through a very, very, very toxic relationship and the breakup was pretty bad too, or the betrayal was pretty bad, those type of people need to work on themselves, because they will still hold on to that trauma and take it into the next relationship like they're dealing with the same person that they dealt with before, when they're not. And this is what I think sometimes Jasmine does to Bobby. She has these high and lofty expectations of how she's expecting Bobby to behave and what she won't put up with, because of the situations that she's been through. Bobby's quite happy to fall into line with what it is that Jasmine wants and what she says in that sense, but that can't happen all the way through the years. If they decide to get married at the end of the day, there's going to have to be some give and take between the both of them. All the feelings in terms of them having their phones back and everything like that, and the access that they get with their phones, has brought up all the feelings back for Jasmine. So basically she turned around and the first thing that she did was search up Bobby on YouTube and saw his music video. Oh God, is she going to make an issue of the video? Yes, it was quite a romantic, quite steamy video with the woman that he was working with in that point in time. And I thought, but that was a video he did years ago at the end of the day, so you can't be holding to the fact that this is who he is. Jasmine says like she doesn't want to be the girl that used to check on who her partner followed, whose picture he was liking, and asking those questions of who the girl is in that picture. And I was like, okay, yeah, now she's kind of warning Bobby, as if to say, like, you know what, don't do that shit, because she ain't gonna find it cutesy, she ain't gonna find it funny. She's literally gonna go into her insecure bag and think you're finding this woman to go cheat on her with. So yeah, don't do it, Bobby. And I'm kind of thinking, well, doesn't that start with her? Because at the end of the day, as far as I can see right now, Bobby has not given her any just cause for concern. And this is why people who are like Jasmine, or been like Jasmine in terms of jealousy, when they go as far as searching for your phone and X, Y, and Z and asking those types of questions, shouldn't necessarily be on a show like this if they haven't already done the groundwork on themselves in terms of relieving themselves of that toxicness, relieving themselves of that trauma to not bring it into the next relationship. But again, we'll see how that works out with them. So Demi and her people come, and you see Demi's friends Jasmine and James meet Ollie. So Ollie's vegan. Didn't know Ollie was vegan. We all know that James and Demi ain't vegan. Anyway, so James was asked what's the plans, and basically they said that they're not putting pressure on each other at the end of the day. They're taking each day as it comes. Good answer. Jasmine does ask about the other couples and how Demi is with the girls. Demi said from the beginning she went in her shell and she didn't want to discuss like who she liked and all of that, and she was trying to stay out of those conversations. But I already knew Demi was thinking that way because she was interviewed not so long ago by Will and Emma, the hosts of the show. And she realised that, you know what, as much as you want to make friends with the girls in the show, that you can't really make friends with them, especially in the first bit of the process of the pods, when you're knowing that you will be dating other people that they're going to be interested in, especially if you want that man, because it's literally going to be a selfish thing that you're going to have to do, and you're going to have to think about yourself. But this is what I've been saying from the get-go when it comes to Love is Blind. Stop telling the other people who it is that you're interested in at the end of the day, because these girls ain't in there to be your friend, they're in there to be competition against you at that point in time. James asked like, out of the girls, did anyone like the same guy? And then we did talk a little bit about Catherine and who took a liking to Ollie. Then Ollie basically said that with that connection, it wasn't as strong as the connection that he had with Demi, basically, which gave reassurance for Demi. And the smile that Demi gave when Ollie started waxing poetic about her was beautiful, like absolutely beautiful. And I'm like, this is what Demi needs to hear sometimes. Like, seriously, that's what Demi needs to hear. So future and long term, they had spoken about having kids. Demi talks about her biggest insecurity, which was her endometriosis. And basically Ollie turned around and he doesn't have an issue with that, especially if it came to them being together and if they ended up fostering or adopting, because he says that his mum was adopted at the end of the day. And basically Ollie is just saying that they're grateful for each other. For me, with Demi and Ollie, it's just natural. It's just natural. And this here, how they were in their own space, is what the other people in the group don't necessarily see. And this is what sometimes, yes, in your own space, you want that private area to yourself. You don't want anybody else to encroach in that because it's special to you and you're protecting it. But then when they get out in a group setting, they need to just show that togetherness that they do have, rather than them spending time apart. They need to show that togetherness. Demi's friends do like him. Ollie says in his VC that during that conversation with the friends, the dinner with the friends, that he felt so much closer to Demi. And my thing is, again, is how they will then continue to foster their relationship and how close they are to each other in a group setting. So Freddie takes Catherine to see his home, and Freddie basically believes that with Catherine he's met somebody amazing. For me, the jury's still out with Catherine, because right now that girl has no chill, like none at all. I don't fully trust her, and I don't fully trust that she has these all-encompassing feelings for Freddie at the end of the day. Kid you not, Freddie's home is gorgeous and it's all bought by himself. But the man's got no doors. He had no doors attached in his home. I didn't get that. I'm like, why ain't you sorted that shit out, my guy? So Catherine's basically seen all the decor and is asking him if a female lives there, and he just goes, no, I just like nice decor. And I'm just like, there's some men out there that can actually match things together when they decide to decorate. Do you know what I mean? Not all men live in a freaking hovel at the end of the day, and we should be shocked when we walk into someone's yard, yeah, and go, oh my God, this is beautiful. We should not be shocked by that, but we are. Like, seriously. It gets to the point where now, at this point, so far down the freaking line, that Catherine apologises to Freddie for her snappiness. Freddie does end up giving Catherine grace. But for me, I don't think it will be the end between them two and Catherine's snappiness and how she deals with things that she is not happy with when it comes to Freddie. Me, as I've already said, I don't really see them two together, but you can let me know. Maria and Tom, and she's basically says that she's not going to be holding it against Tom about him being so judgmental about her. And I don't know if she saw that as a little bit of a faux pas, a little bit of a habit of Tom's. I think it's just a part of who Tom is in terms of how he sees things, how he sees the world. I do think Tom can be quite judgmental over the things that he doesn't necessarily understand. And I don't think he gives it time to try and understand, especially the differences that will happen between him and Maria. Maria is excited for Tom to meet her family. And basically Maria is talking to Tom, and she says it's just about you being respectful when you're in their presence, because in her culture you don't do the whole full-on PDA in her family or in front of her family like that. And she basically did say in her VC, like, if they don't love Tom, then it's like a see you later, because he has to understand that she is a proud Muslim too, and her family is the hierarchy. Her family is everything to her, which it should be. And if her brother, her sister, her mum are not taken with him, that is going to leave Maria in a space of, I should not be with you. If my family don't like you, I can't be with you, sort of thing. Tom did ask what Maria's father may have made of all of this, which did leave her teary-eyed, and she basically said that her dad would have loved Tom. So I'm like, okay, I don't with them two again, I don't see it either. I really don't, because Maria's lovely. She is at this point. Maria is lovely, but with Tom, I just, it's a jury's still out on that one for me as well. So we see Demi and Ollie, and basically he loves spending time with Demi. Demi does notice a lot about Ollie, and like she completely studies him fully. So when she's picking things out in regards to how he is in terms of his behaviours, this is where Ollie actually was comfortable enough in telling Demi in a safe space, because that's what they created for each other, a safe place, that he had ADHD. I said, I knew it. When he said that, I knew it. Even when it was down to the freaking shopping, he could not keep still. He was he was here, there and everywhere. He could not concentrate on any one set thing, you know, or focus on any one set thing. And the way he is in social settings, I knew there was something more going on for Ali. He said he didn't tell anyone. He's only told like a select few people in regards to his situation. And this is what I say when I say that Demi feeds into people fully. She gives them life, and that's what she was doing to Ollie. And Ollie was open and receptive to it, even to the point that he was kind of like a little bit bashful, you know, and didn't really know what to say, but he was liking what he was hearing, because his woman was sat there telling him all the good things about him, like seriously all the good things about him. That's how she was feeding into him. That's why I love Demi. I do. I love Demi. I really, really do. And I really hope it works out for them. So basically, Stephen is taking Sabrina back into his hometown of Brum to meet his mates and his brother, as if he's already didn't realise by the accent that, you know, Stephen is a Brummie, same as myself. So it's kind of nice that a Brummie's got on the show. I really don't like... It's gonna sound so bad, but I really don't like our accent when it's on recording, man, because it just makes us sound like a dunce for real. And I'm not saying that Stephen is. He seems like an absolutely lovely chap. So Freddie then took Catherine to meet his family, his sister Betsy Dora and his mum Wendy, and then we meet Chris, who was there as well, who's the brother-in-law, and his brother Jack, who has Down syndrome. And you could tell that he missed him. His brother Jack completely missed him, and Freddie is all about his brother. He's a very much loved member of the family. So Freddie did ask what they thought about him and Catherine getting married. And Mum did basically say, to be honest, she didn't know that that was going to happen. and she said it will be the biggest thing that you will do in your life, and you just hope that when you do make that decision, you hope it's forever. Freddie's sister didn't really look all that convinced with Catherine at the end of the day. She was literally quite quiet during that visit and literally quite watchful. So she is a people watcher, basically. Catherine basically said that it felt good meeting Freddie's family, and Catherine felt that she fit into the family, to be fair. And I just think, no, I think it's just that Freddie's family were being quite polite and they weren't going to be rude to your face, basically. So Freddie did ask his brother Jack if he would be best man, which he said yes to. So then we go to Hertfordshire, and Maria and Tom are meeting Maria's family. He is nervous as hell. So it's sister Salma, mother Fatima, brother Hisham, and then the brother-in-law who's married to her sister Salma, and Warren was there with the two nieces. The sister did get upset during their discussions because it was kind of like a hard pill to swallow for her, because they love Maria so much and all they want is for her to be happy. But if that's with Tom, I don't know. I couldn't tell you at this stage anyway. So Sabrina and Stephen are at the famous button factory in fair old Bronte. So Stephen is basically explaining to Sabrina that his friends and family basically don't know anything about the experiment, and that he's actually met someone who he's actually engaged to and looking to get married to. And I was like, okay, so yeah, probably not the time to spring that little nugget on them, to be honest with you, when they're meeting the woman for the first time. But hey ho, they've got to know some way, ain't they? So Sabrina ends up meeting Damo, Jamie and Jim, who is Stephen's youngest brother. So Stephen does explain the whole concept and everything to them, and you can tell that the friends are like, what the fuck? Really? Even the brother's like, huh? Okay. And then one of the friends felt that it was just like crazy and silly, but didn't think that he could have done what they had done. But then looking at it from a different angle, they kind of understood why he would have gone down that road. But then I'm kind of like, there's cameras all over the Ross place. Did you not feel something might be coming with the cameras sitting not so far away from yourselves, with you struggling not to look into the camera? You must have known something was coming. Anyway, so his friend was talking about how it took him 5 years to propose to the person that he's married to now, and they've been married for 2 years. So he'd been with her for 7 years, so he couldn't fully understand this concept of how condensed it was in getting to know someone and what is it that you know about them enough to literally say yes at that altar. So Sabrina and Stephen both fully explained to them where they're at in terms of their relationship. We do find out that Sabrina is between jobs right now, and she did quit her job to do this show, but she wants to start her own consultancy business. And it works out well with Stephen, because he can actually teach her the ropes, because he owns his own business, basically. But the question that needs to be asked is, where is Sabrina financially? Because nobody seems to have those types of discussions about where are you financially, how are you with money in that regard. They don't ask those questions. But do you know what? From what I've seen with Stephen and Sabrina, they do get along really well. So we go back to Freddie and Catherine. And basically, Catherine is sitting there singing Freddie's praises about how they are living together. And Freddie answers honestly in regards to the fact that they have had a few clashes between them. And automatically, rather than sitting back in the discomfort, Catherine decides it was a good idea at this point to blame Freddie, and basically says, oh, but Freddie's good at winding people up. And then thought that was funny. And you could see that his mum and his sister were watching her intently at that point when she said that. That I don't see Freddie as a wind-up merchant, to be honest with you. He can be jokey in a tense situation, which doesn't probably always help the other person. And he's doing that to try and lighten the mood. But with someone like Catherine, you can't do that with, because she don't get it. She don't get that side of him. at the end of the day, the tension that was caused by Catherine, not by Freddie. So for Catherine to sit there and make it all Freddie's fault is full of BS to me, to be honest with you. So the sister decides that she wants to have a chat with her brother Freddie outside. So she goes off and she says to her brother that she feels that he's more reserved than what he normally is. So Freddie does turn around and tell his sister basically what is happening and where he's feeling in regards to Catherine. And basically his sister's telling him not to put so much pressure on himself. And I'm thinking it's not so much the pressure, it's more so the fact that he's deciding to become more reserved to fit into to what it is that Catherine wants and how she feels Freddie should behave and be in that essence. So basically his sister says that, you know what, be your own person if she makes you feel like you are good enough. So Freddie does say that it's not that he questions, am I good enough for her? But I agree with what the sister then says when she turns around, and maybe the question should be, is she good enough for you? Basically. So then we go back to Tom and Maria. Maria's talking about marriage and how they're both feeling fine about that, and how her and Tom are not 100% sold on getting married at this moment in time. And it's basically because of the case that they need the time to get to know this person and basically gear up to that point in time where at the altar it's enough for her or him to say yes, it has to be there, that 100% they're saying surety that they need. But marriage is not necessarily a surety at the end of the day. It's something that they will both have to definitely work on. But if their core values are fundamentally flawed in terms of they're not so close together and they're quite a wide berth apart from each other, it's never going to work between them two, because they won't be able to meet in the middle in regards to how they see like themselves conducting themselves within the marriage, but then also the outside world and how they conduct themselves outside with other people. But then also the fact of it is, when you start to have children, how you're going to instill like those values, those boundaries, those rules in them as well, and whether them two are going to be able to do that, like, because Maria's quite on the other end of that spectrum, whereas Tom is on the other side of that spectrum too, when it comes to how they both see the world. And it's how they can actually kind of, I don't know what's the word, make a compromise somewhere, but I don't know, because Tom and Maria are so steadfast people and probably a little bit stubborn. I don't know how them two are going to come through that and out the other side basically to make it a success. So they then talked about, like, you know, Maria being of Muslim faith, and the sister said life is not about what you do or the money that you have, it's about the people in your life. Tom shocked me because he sat there and agreed, and I was like, hold on a minute, Tom, because basically you judged Maria in the fact that she didn't have such a high-powered job as you, or didn't have the aspiration to have that high-powered job as you, and you saw that as a fundamental flaw within a value that you had and Maria didn't have. So how then you can sit there and agree with her sister saying that is beyond me. So even Maria did kind of like do a head nod like towards Tom, and the sister Salma did pick it up, and basically they did discuss in essence what had happened that day, and Tom did like call himself out on the comments that he made the other day, and said that Maria did like call him snobby and judgmental. But basically he's saying that he's learnt from that and moving on from that. I don't see how quickly you can. Maria's mum talks about how in life you have to have respect and consideration. So Salma ends up speaking to Tom when they're by themselves in the kitchen, and basically says to him, does he think there's anything that he needs to work on? He would like to think that he's an empathetic person. I don't necessarily think he is. He doesn't give off that impression anyway. And did highlight their dad again. And I don't know if Tom does that in order to make them feel more emotional, so they don't concentrate too closely on him, because he has a tendency, like he does with Maria, to bring up her father in certain scenarios. And I think you don't have to do that all the time. Basically, she asked you a direct question, answer it Do you know what I mean? So Tom ends up having a sit down conversation with Maria's mom, Fatima. He wanted Maria's mom's blessing, basically, if they were to say yes. I'm always a bit apprehensive when you go to the father or to the mother and you want their blessing. Because my thing is if you're wanting their blessing, then when you get up to the altar, or the only sound you should be making is I do. At the end of the day, don't get their blessing and then go up to the Ras altar and then tell me if you know you don't want to get married, because that couldn't go on, because that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing and hurtful. Not just to me, but to my whole family after you've done asked for my hand. Do you know what I mean? After you've done asked for their blessing. Don't do that and then go up there and say no. I ain't the one. It's not the one at all. So we go to Nicole and Ben. And Ben is meeting Nicole's mum and dad's. Larissa and Michael. And they're a bit like airy-fairy like Nicole. And I'm like, okay, so that's where she gets it from. That is exactly where she gets it from. Don't ask me who she looks like, because all three of them look completely different to each other. That's the only thing I can say. But her parents are lovely. They are lovely. So they do explain the whole concept to Nicole's parents. Nicole does tell them about the marriage part. And her dad does give her good advice. They don't try and say, are you sure? They don't try and direct where they think what it should happen and what should happen between them. They're quite open to listening to what it is their daughter is saying and how she's feeling, and they go with that, because at the end of the day they want to see their child happy. They're not like some of the parents that I've seen in this show that can be very like, you know, like a harpy, like not very nice at all. Ben is basically confident, having met her parents now, and I'm just saying it went really did go well. So Nicole did talk about within the meeting with the parents that she was devastated in the beginning that it didn't work out with Benaya, but now she knows that it is them too. But the problem with them is they keep bringing up the Sam situation, and I'm just like, you know what, deal with it once and for all and get it out of the way, to be honest with you. Because in the next episode we see that Sam does make a return, and he then starts to cause a little bit of mayhem, a little bit of drama. And then Tasha comes in as well in the next episode, and I'm like, okay. The producers were really going all out with this one, weren't they? They were hoping for some hyper thing to go on. Nicole was saying some things to Sam that we saw, and not really shutting down the stuff that Sam was saying. But I'm like, you know what, this part could be the edits, because I'm a sucker for the edits and thinking, oh, it's going to happen the way in which I see it, but it doesn't necessarily happen. So I have to wait till I get to that episode to see what the fuck happened there. You see Tasha saying some things too, and Maria's looking like, what's going on here, sort of thing. And I'm like, okay, is it going to blow up for real between them all? Because you do see Tasha having that chat with Tom. And then you see Ben and Sam talking, and then you see Sam literally saying to Ben that he and Nicole had amazing connection in the pods. And I'm like, can somebody please direct me to the part where this happened? Because from what I was watching, Nicole did not have a great connection with Sam. At the end of the day, she had a better connection with Benaya. That's how I'm seeing it. That's how I'll always see it. So then Sam ends up telling Ben that when Nicole stayed at his, she wanted to sleep with him. And I said, well, damn. Well, damn. I really hope that was not true. Like, honestly hope that was not true, because that would make me see Nicole in a whole different light in terms of her decision making and the validation that she seeks from men. But also Sam is the devil in disguise. He is going to be benevolent. He is going to stir the boat, because he didn't get what he wanted. But yet he wants people to think that he went into this show with genuine reasons. He did not. Like, seriously did not. Anyway, that's where that episode ended. I'll be back in quick succession with the next episode. As I always ask, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so when you know I'm doing videos. Please comment, like, share, do all the good things that you do. Because again, I am on the road to 1K. Peace out.